My name is Sheikh Firoz Khan, working as an assistant professor in MBA department of Marri Laxman Reddy Institute of Technology and Management, Dundigal, Hyderabad. So I'm very happy to as your instructor for this subject. I have very much interest in teaching of business economics. My goal is to make every concept clear, practical, and apply in real business situations. So let's begin. So before going to start the first unit of business economics, let's take a moment to understand the core objective of this course. So this objective will guide our learning journey and help to connect economic theory to the real business situations. So once look on course objectives, the first course identify the core principles and the basic concepts of business economics. So we begin the building of a strong foundation. Student will explore essential ideas of business economics such as scarcity, opportunity cost, decision making, and resource allocation. So these concepts form all the base of for all economic reasoning in business. So these concepts form all base for all economic reasoning in business. Right. The second core objective explain the key determinants of demand and supply and their interaction in establishing market equilibrium, right? So the next one is we study how market function, how we'll examine the factors that influence demand like income, preferences, and price, as well as the factors affecting the supply such as production cost and technology. So these all are covers under the second point, that is core objective. Right. The third one is calculate and interpret various measures of production and cost to identify optimal production levels and cost efficiencies. So in this part, the third point, in this part, we shift our attention to the internal operations of a firm's student. So we will learn a calculate the cost, analyze the production process, and determine the most efficient output level. So the next point, fourth one, explain various market structures. Explain various market structures and their impact on firm conduct, performance, and pricing decisions. Businesses do not operate the same type of market. Some face competition while others enjoy monopoly power. So we will explore different market structures like perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition and understand how each one shapes business behavior, performance, and pricing strategies under this objective. Let's move on to fifth objectives, that is justify optimal pricing strategies for different market conditions considering both economic theory, yes, economic theory and practical business application. So in the core objectives, finally we bring everything together. Students learn to design pricing strategies that suit various market scenarios. So these are the five core objectives in the business economics, right? So let's next move on to course outcomes. Course outcome reflects not just what you will learn, but what will you will able to apply in real business situation. So in this, the first course outcome you see here, examine the basic concepts of business economics and its role in managerial decision making. So you will begin by understanding the foundational ideas of business economics more importantly. So you will learn how these concepts guide managers in making smart, informed decisions, right? The second one analyze the impact of demand and supply in establishing market equilibrium. So in this course outcome you will gain the ability and study how demand and supply interact in real markets. So this includes understanding how changes in price, income, or consumer preferences affect the balance between what businesses offer and what outcomes want, what customers want. So this is the second course outcome we learn in the business economics. So third point, analyze the relationship between production output and cost structure to identify optimal production levels and cost efficiency. So, by the end of the course, you will be able to evaluate how different production level influence the cost. This skill helps identify the most efficient level of output. So, where the business can reduce the cost and increase the profitability. Understand? So this will learn in the third course outcome. And fourth one, assess the characteristics of various market structure and their impact to firm conduct, performance, and pricing decisions. So, in this course outcome, you will explore different market environments like perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, and understand how each one affects a firm's behavior, competitive strategies, and pricing decisions. So, the fifth one, design effective pricing strategies for products and services based on market conditions, and economic analysis. So, in this course outcome, finally, you will be equipped to create practical pricing strategies using the knowledge of market dynamics, cost behavior, and consumer demand. You will be able to understand prices that help businesses stay competitive and profitable. So these are the five course outcomes covered in the business economics. So now let me briefly influence the textbooks and reference materials and will support your learning throughout this course. So some of the textbooks I mentioned here, just see here. So Geetika Piyush Ghosh, Piyali Ghosh by Puraba Rai Chaudhary, managerial economics books there, published by the Tata McGraw Hill. And the second book of Mithani Managerial Economics, published by the Himalaya Publishing House. So some of the books I'm giving here. So many other references also there. So Mithani Managerial Economics and G.S. Gupta Managerial Economics also there here. And some of the URLs also I mentioned. So you can go through these links. So finally, we are coming to the first syllabus. Right. So let's begin with introduction to the business economics. So business economics having 5 units. In these 5 units, the first unit is related to the introduction to the business economics. Second unit is related to theory of demand and supply concepts. So third unit covers production and cost analysis. And fourth unit covers market structures, pricing, output decisions. And fifth unit covers the pricing strategies. So in this, today we are going to discuss about the first unit topic, introduction to the business economics, right? So once you look on the first unit syllabus, that is introduction to the business economics. So what are the major topics covers under this business economics? Introduction to the business economics means, so the first thing is what economics is. So first thing you will learn what business economics is. So in this main topic, we will discuss what are the definitions we have, what is the nature and scope of business economics. And the second point, how it is connects with other disciplines. So other disciplines like accounting, finance, statistics, and other marketing. So these are the topics covers under the other disciplines. And how managers make decisions. So using economic reasoning, economic concepts, and the basic economic principles also we will discuss in this first unit. So what are the basic economic principles we have? One is opportunity cost, marginalism, equimarginalism, incremental concept, time perspective, discounting principle, and risk and uncertainty. So these are the few major concepts under the first unit, that is introduction to the business economics. So in this we are going to discuss about the basics, definitions, and nature and scope of business economics, right? So before we are going to discuss about the business economics, we need to understand what is economics is, what business is, right? The first question. So let's begin with a simple question. What is economics? Economics deals with human wants and limited resources. Human wants are unlimited, but resources to satisfy those wants are limited. So economics help us make choices. So some of the definitions we have of different economics. So one of the most feminist person, that is Adam Smith, given one definition regarding to the economics. So according to him, economics is the study of nature and uses of national wealth. So I think you people all know Adam Smith is the father of economics. So according to Adam Smith definition, he focuses on material goods and financial resources. It emphasizing earning wealth, increasing national income, and improving economic prosperity. So this is about the Adam Smith economics definition. And one more person also there is Alfred Marshall. So Alfred Marshall is the father of microeconomics. Alfred Marshall described economics as the study of man's ordinary business of life. It explains how he gets his income and how he uses it. So, this definition begins economics closer to human behavior and daily life. So, Marshall emphasized that economics is not just about abstract number or markets. It's about people and their activities and their decisions. How do people earn money? How do they choose to spend it? So these are the kinds of questions economics tries to answer. So about this, Alfred Marshall given definition. And one more person also there here, Lionel Robbins. So Lionel Robbins, according to Lionel Robbins, economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends of scarce, means which have alternative uses. So according to Robbins is telling us here that economics is not just about wealth or income. It is fundamentally how the people make choices. Because resources are limited or scarce, and because these resources can be used in different ways. Individuals and business must decide how best to allocate them to satisfy their needs and wants. So, this is about the economics definitions. Now that we understand what economics means, let us move to another basic term, business. So here I given some of the personals. So Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, and Lionel Robbins. So these are the people given economics definition. So let's move to another basic term, business. So here, business is the regular production or purchase and sale of goods undertaken with an objective of earning profit and acquiring wealth. According to James Stephenson, so business involves consistent activities. Business involves consistent activities where goods are either made or bought and then sold to customers. So, the main goal behind these activities is to generate profit, right? Similarly, some another person, Keith Davis, also given one definition about the business. According to him, business may be defined as any form of activity which produce goods or service to earn profit by satisfying human needs. So, according to Keith Davis' definition, our understanding by introducing both goods and services, recognizing that businesses do not just sell physical products but also offer valuable services. Now comes to important concept today's session, that is business economics. So Spencer and Seigelman. So these both are given business economics definition. So business economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by the management. So business economics is the bridges gap between abstract. So, according to this definition, business economics is the bridges, the gap between theories, economic theories, and real world business action. It helps managers apply economic principles directly to everyday business decisions, right? So, in a simple words, business economics is economics applied in business decisions. Let's move to nature of business economics. Nature of business economics. Some of the key points I mentioned here. One is the micro level study, market theory. Business economics is a micro level study. Business economics is a market theory concept. Business economics is a goal oriented. It is interdisciplinary concept and it is science and art. And also it is a programmatic approach and it is normative and not positive. And business economics use microeconomic principles. Business economics use of macroeconomic principles and it is integration of economics and business. So these are the points covers under the nature of business economics. In that, the first point, micro level study. So just once look on that micro level study. So for that means, so micro level study means it focuses on decisions inside the firm, such as what to produce, how much to produce, and what at what price. For example, a smartphone company must decide how many phones to produce based on demand and cost. So let's take a closer at the process. So the first step in the micro level study, define the problem or issue. It is essential to understand exactly what challenges or question needs to be addressed before moving forward. And the next one is gather data. Collecting all the necessary information such as market trends, cost figures, customer preferences, or production details. All the information we collecting here. And next, the third step is develop a model. A model is a simplified representation of reality that helps us understand relationship between different factors. For example, It could be a mathematical equation or a graphical framework that shows how costs change with production levels. So it is developing a model. And the next fourth step is estimate the model. So it involves the quantifying the relationship using the gathered data. And the next one is test the model. Test the model, check the accuracy and reliability. This ensures the model can predict or explain the problem correctly. And finally, interpret the results. This step involves drawing meaningful conclusions and making recommendations based on what the model shows. So these are all, it is the process in the micro level study. And the next one is market theory. The second one is market theory. It deals with managers must understand how supply, demand, and market structure influence decisions. For example, if a company operates in competitive market, it must keep its pricing strategy aligned with competitors. So let's break down this market theory. We start with understand customer preferences. A business must what customers truly want, their needs, their tastes, and the problems they're trying to solve. So without we understanding and strategy, we build later will be break. So we collect data, conduct surveys, and observe customer behavior. The once we have that clarity, we move to the second step, that is analyzing competitor pricing strategies. So remember, no business works in isolation. Competitors influence the market. By studying their prices, we understand the range of the customers are already familiar with and identify the chances to stand out. So this gives us a realistic picture of the competitive landscape. Then we go to the third step, that is estimate the demand elasticity. Estimate the demand elasticity. So here we focus on the customers respond. Here we focus on customers respond to price changes. If the price goes up or down, the demand change a lot or only a little. This is important because it helps to predict the impact of different pricing decisions. After that, we move to the step 4, monitor the market. The market is dynamic, trends shift, new products either enter, and the customer's behavior evolves. So constant monitoring help us to stay updated and make timely adjustments instead of reacting the late. Finally, we reach the fifth step, set prices. With all information gathered, customer with all information gathered, customer preferences, competitors pricing, competitors pricing, demand elasticity, and marketing trends, we can set price here, both competitive and profitable here. So this is about the market theory and also the micro level study. The next nature of the business economics, it is goal oriented. The primary goal of most business firm is profit maximization, but some may also focus on cost reduction, customer satisfaction, or market expansion, right? So we begin with here some process. The first one is set the goals. Any successful plan starts with knowing exactly what you want to achieve, whether it is increasing sales, reaching new customers, or improving brand awareness. Once goals are set, we move to the second step, that is gather data. So here we collect relevant information of the goals, customer feedback, market trends, competitor activities, and past performance. So this data becomes the foundation of every decision. The next one is analyze the data. We examine the collected information to understand the patterns, opportunities, and challenges. The next, we inside the hand, we go to the step 4, develop strategies. We design marketing plan, choose communication channels, and decide how to position of our product in the market. So then comes to the step 5, implement the strategies. Now the plan goes into action. Campaign are launched and advertisements are published and all planned activities are executed. Finally, the last step in the goal oriented evaluate the results. So here we compare with our original goals. Did the strategy work? What we fixed the goals, did the strategy work or not? What can we improve next time? Evaluation ensures continuous learning and a better performance in future campaigns. So let's move on to the interdisciplinary. Business economics is a interdisciplinary thing. So it combines ideas from economics, statistics, psychology, mathematics, and management. For example, when we are launching a new product in the market, a company needs economic forecasting, statistical and demand estimation, and consumer psychology. So, market is not limited to one field, it is interdisciplinary thing. So first we understand the consumer behavior, then implementing some marketing campaigns, test the market campaigns, and design marketing campaigns, and combine behavioral economics and economic models, develop economic models. So our business economics is interlinked with different actions and different disciplines. Understand? So let's move to the next point, that is business economics is a science and art. Business economics is both a science and art. If uses, sorry, Business economics uses formulas, models, and data. That is the scientific part. But it also requires experience, judgment, and intuition, and it is the art. And that is the art. So now we are saying it is a science and art. So in the science and arts, we begin with gather gather data. So in the scientific part, collecting a factual information from the market, customers, competitors, and trends. This is the scientific part. So gather data, this is the scientific part. Collecting factual information from the market, customers, competitors, and trends. Solid data gives us a reliable foundation. The next step is analyzing the data. How we process the information, identify the patterns, and look for a meaningful insights. And next, move to the step 3, consider industry experience and intuition. This where the art comes in. Experienced marketers use their insight, instincts, creativity, and understanding of human behavior to interpret the data in practical way. Next one is make a decision. Making a decision, here we convert our analysis and intuition into a clear action, choosing the best strategy, campaign, or approach. And next, fifth step is monitor the results. After taking action, we observe the outcomes, right? So these are the process comes under the science and art. So now we can say business economics is a science and art. So let's move to the next point, that is pragmatic approach. So pragmatic approach means it is a practical and realistic. So pragmatic approach means it is practical and realistic. It deals with a real business situations rather than theoretical assumptions. So in this pragmatic approach, focus on practical step-by-step decision making. So here first thing is identify the cost and benefits of the investments. Identify the cost and benefits of the investment. So before making any decision, we must clearly list all potential gains and expenses. The next step, quantify the cost and benefits. We assign a numerical values to them. This allows us to compare options where objectively. The next comes step C, that is discount the future costs and benefits. So since money today is more valuable than money tomorrow, we adjust future values to reflect their present worth. This is the key economic principle. After that, we move to the step D, compare the cost and benefits. So we evaluate whether the benefits outweigh the cost and by how much. This comparison helps determine whether the investment is worldwide, right? Finally, we end with step E, make decision, right? So these are the other two concepts in sorry. So these are the 2 points covers under the nature of business economics. So let's move to the normative and not positive statements. So positive economics tells us what is happening, while normative economics suggests what should be done. Business economics gives recommendations to improve outcomes. So, in the normative and not positive, the first step is develop recommendations, and the next one is understand the company's current practices, and the next move to the communicate the recommendations to the company, and then identify the opportunities for improvement, and then work with company implement the recommendations. So these are the concepts comes under the normative and not positive things. And the next move to the use of microeconomic principles. Even though it is mainly focuses on individual businesses, managers must consider inflation, interest rates, government policies, taxation, and overall economic health. So macroeconomic health principles helps companies understand the bigger economic environment before making major business decisions. So we starts with identify the macroeconomic factors. So this includes inflation, interest rate, GDP, etc. Next one is gather the data, the macroeconomic factors like reports, surveys, government data. So all this comes under this point. And next, make predictions about the future. So forecasting helps business understanding. So pricing, changing demand, and new opportunities. So all these points are comes under the make predictions. And the next one, assess the risk and potential rewards of entering the market. So here, this help company decide whether economic environment is favorable or too risky for expansion. So this point will explain this. And finally, make a decision about whether or not to enter the market. So these are the points. And the last point of nature of business economics, that is integration of economics and business. When integration of economics and business, in this point economics and business come together, they create a powerful framework for making smart and profitable decisions. So let's break down how this integration works in real business situation. Choosing the best location to open a new store. Oh, we begin with analyzing location. demographics. So these are all points are comes under the integration of economics and business. So next we assess the, so these are the all points comes under the nature of business economics. So let's move to the scope of business economics. Only one point left, that is scope of business economics. The scope of business economics include several important areas. Let us explore the key areas of where business economics guides. One is managerial analysis, demand theory, theory of production, theory of product pricing, theory of factor pricing, theory of welfare, optimum resource allocation. After knowing of all these concepts, a company may invest more high demand products and reduce spending on products are not performing well. Efficient allocation leads to higher productivity and lower waste. Before we end, think about how today's topic connects to the real business situations you observe around you. We will discuss your thoughts in the next class. Thank you, everyone.